Hello, my wonderful, amazing artists. It's me, Miss Abby, your art teacher, and today we're creating comics. Now, comics are stories told through pictures. And we see comics all around us. A comic can be about any subject. We've got Dog Man, Captain Underpants, but you can make a comic and all the superheroes comics, but you can make a comic about any story you would want to hear. And you'll notice comics are a little different. Here's an example of a comic. Comics are a little different than a typical illustrated book. Like, that's different than, say, Beautiful Oops, right? A comic has a couple things. Comic has two things that are kind of unique about them that I want to focus on today. The first one is the panels. Usually if you see a comic, it's moments in the story are divided into little boxes. Like in this one I made, I started by drawing some boxes for the story. That was the first thing I did, was draw this line and this line to divide my paper into different moments for my story. The second thing is speech balloons. See here, you can see the word zap and I feel funny. Those tell us how the story sounds, whether someone's talking or yelling, if there's a crash or a boom or a zap or anything like that. That's called dialogue in a story, when people are talking to each other. So those are two elements that are really special about comic drawing. Now, your art challenge for today is to try drawing a comic of your own. And it can be about anything, any character. It can be about any kind of character. It can be about an animal, a person, a magic person. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you think you're good at drawing, I recommend starting there. And remember, comics can be pretty simple. Charlie Brown and Snoopy are both like pretty simple characters, and comic artists do that because they have to draw the characters over and over again. So they keep it pretty simple, which is awesome. So, let's get started. For this project, I recommend starting with pencil, then going with your coloring tools. If you have a ruler or something else that is kind of straight, like maybe like a piece of cardboard, a book, a magazine, that might be handy too. Okay, so the first thing I do if I am creating a comic is that I like to draw in my boxes. And a line down the middle. So we've got our verticals, now we're doing horizontals. And now I have some squares that I can fill with my story. And I am just gonna make up a story on the spot because I didn't really have any ideas. But you can do that. You can tell a story that you know really well, like retelling like something that happened to you, or your favorite movie story or fairy tale, or something funny that happened in your life. Or you can just make it up. I think I'm going to start with some characters. I think I'm going to start with drawing a possum, because I saw one, was just the last animal I saw. And think about a story that has to do with the most. Actually, I think I'm going to do a story with very simple characters because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I want to get it really right. So I'm going to tell a story with some very simply designed characters and use really bright colors. Ta-da! Here's my comic all penciled in. And I found it really challenging at first. I didn't really come into it with an idea. And so I thought about something I look at every day and something I draw all the time. And I'm always drawing cats. And I have a cat named Norma. And I thought I could tell a fun story about her. And so I made one about her thinking about fish. Maybe she's hungry for fish, and she goes and looks in her water bowl, in the sink, in the kitchen, plays with a fish-shaped toy, and then she finally finds some goldfish crackers and eats those. And then she falls asleep thinking yummy with a full tummy. So now I'm going to use a black marker to do all of the outlines. And I recommend for when you make your comic to use a pencil first, then erase because you can erase a pencil, right? But you cannot erase a black marker. Professional comic artists actually use like a light blue or a light yellow colored pencil, and then they cover it over with markers and the colorful tools, the colorful inks. And we're following in that style today. We're making art just like the pros by doing pencil first, then doing our marker or crayon or black colored pencil, whatever you like using best later. This is my comic of Norma. I got my panels and my speech or thought bubbles that help tell the story. And it is a story told in pictures. First, you have Norma thinking about fish. Then she looks in her water dish for a fish. Then she looks in the sink of my kitchen. And then she plays with a fish catnip toy. And then she finds a bag of goldfish. Then she falls asleep with a full tummy. And this is inspired by my cat, and I draw cats all the time. I've been drawing cats probably since I was your age, and drawing them in the corner of, my notebooks and stuff in kindergarten. So I thought this was pretty easy. That was kind of why I got the idea for a cat. Now I'd love to see what you come up with your comic. I recommend doing the panels first, using a ruler and adding some squares, and then using a pencil to draw in your details. Remember, you can keep it simple here. You don't have to go too crazy detailed if you don't want to. And you can get inspired by your favorite fairy tale, your favorite myth, or your favorite superhero. I just want to see you give comics a try, and remember, take it slow. It could take you all day to make your comic if you want. It's okay if you don't finish within your art class. Just get it started. Try drawing some panels. Try dividing your story into some panels or some squares. And try some speech balloons to tell your reader how the story sounds. Here's another example of one I made. It's about how the electric eel got electricity. See, the eel here is just minding his own business. Then there's a thunderstorm. And then the eel gets zapped. And then the eel says, "I feel funny." And this one's not finished yet, but I'm going to finish it later and show you. But yeah, I think that I did find that doing 4 panels was a lot easier than doing 6. This is definitely on like challenge mode. But I'm really proud of what I did. I think it came out awesome. I would love to see you try this. Bye. Have fun making art inspired by comics.